Hello, everybody. My name is Kayla Lawrence, and I'm here with the African International House. I am the founder of the Fresh Faces Project, and I am a blogger partnered with the African International House. And today we have with us phenomenal visual artist Moses Marquise. Please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Moses Marquise Okweyiwa from Nigeria, Chicago-based artist. I'm part of the artists that was exhibiting in the exhibition Chicago 2016 titled Visions at the African International House.
What made you become an artist, and what do you love most about being an artist?
Actually, I think when growing up as a little child, I have the talent, drawing, have the interest in drawing things when I was in school, from preschool to secondary school. Started to draw, draw comics and all that. So that's why I got into art, and I love art because it's something I'm passionate about, that I love to draw, and that's how I become an artist.
Yes, now I noticed from your website that you do various mediums of art. What are some of your best mediums that you work with?
Yeah, actually I do a lot of pencil or oil and pastel. Or majorly I do mostly paintings with oil colors and pastel, and I also love using pencils a lot in drawing and making my artworks.
Yes. I also noticed from your website that not only are you exceptionally talented as an artist, but you're very educated. You're welcome. Very educated in your field. Can you elaborate on the type of schooling that you did and the different techniques that you learned?
Yeah, I started from my, in Nigeria, back in Nigeria, we call it secondary school, it's like high school. I started from there, subjects we take in school, they teach us art, fine art, so from there, I started going into art, did fine arts, then from there I went on to study with a professional artist back in Lagos. So I studied there as an apprentice with him for about 2 years, going through the rudiments of drawing and painting, and, being a studio assistant and all that. Then after that, going into secondary school, continued doing my fine art there. Then after secondary school, I proceeded out and got into Yaba College of Technology, where I studied art, mainly as a profession.
Now that is surely amazing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're definitely very well equipped to be such a success that you are. Could you elaborate on what do you think are your favorite types of art?
My favorite type of art, actually I do realism type of art. Realism type of art, there are abstract arts, there are different kind of art, but my own art, I do majorly realism.
Yes.
Do representational art, portraiture art, draw things that are real, not abstract art. Call it representational art. That's what I do mostly.
And obviously, as you guys saw from the PowerPoints with some of his artwork, that he is very skilled at this. Now, I noticed, as someone who was a visual arts major herself all throughout high school, I went to Jones College Prep, by the way, and also in high school. In college, also in college. I noticed that although you do use realism as your main source of visual aesthetic technique, that there seems to be a lot of meaning behind it. It's not just you painting what you see. It seems that there's some type of message or common thread between all of your artworks. Could you think of anything that you would say is common in all of your artwork?
Yeah, majorly through my artworks, I try to bring into, when I do representational work, I take something ordinary, and kind of portray it infusing meaning into it. Like in one of my artwork, the Mandela artwork there, it's a kind of a representation of Nelson Mandela. The title was Icon of Peace. So I infused the national flag of South Africa into the artwork, and then there's a symbol of a dove by the side, which signifies that he is a very peaceful man, and he represents an iconic leader, a peaceful leader. That's right. Most of my works I infuse meaning into them, apart from representing them generally. That's what I do on my works.
All right. Well, we have a caller, so let's go ahead and let them in.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you for taking my call. I wanted to ask your guest if he believes that African art is being integrated into the larger landscape of American art, and whether or not he thinks such integration would be a good or bad thing for the genre.
I think a lot of African artworks have been integrated into American type of artworks. We're looking at the way African art comes up now. There are a lot of interest from around the world in African artworks, especially our deep traditional artworks that most of the artists that I know, or most of the artists you've seen, that they do. So I would say a lot of African artworks are, getting a lot of grants in the international art sense.
Well, I think that was a pretty great answer to their question. Yes. Let's actually focus in on one of his specific artworks that we passed in the PowerPoint presentation. Can you please explain about one of these two right here?
Yeah, I just explained about the South Africa one a while ago. Okay, let me do a little bit of explanation on this portrayal of a little girl. That one was titled "Smile with Me." As you can see, it's a pencil drawing that shows a face of a little girl. Merely looking at the little girl, you notice that smile, that inner happiness in her, irrespective of how she looks or the clothes she wears, a style of hair. It's a portrayal of inner happiness that each and every human being should have, irrespective of your status, where you live, or whatever you do. So it means you should have that inner smile and happiness wherever you are. So that piece is titled "Smile with Me." Merely looking at the girl, you will just feel like sharing in a smile.
Yes, you do. The mood of that artwork definitely is very joyful, very happy. Would you care to go into detail about the other one?
Yeah, just like I was explaining a while ago, that is a portrait of Nelson Mandela. Part of my interest is in portraitures. So I took this picture of Nelson Mandela. I think most of you must have seen pictures of Mandela. Took this ordinary picture, and I started out on the portrait, and that's like I said, I infused the national flag of South Africa. If you see, that's the national flag of South Africa by the hands, and there's a dove in the completed one. Actually, this is not the completed work. There was in the completed work. There is a dove by a chest. That's towards his heart. That means he represents a peaceful. He's a peaceful leader. He's an iconic leader that every other African leaders, especially my country Nigeria, should look forward and emulate to. That made South Africa that brought South Africa to where they are today.
Well, that is a great explanation of both of your artworks. We have a caller on the line.
Okay.
Let's listen to what they have to say.
Yeah, hello. Thank you for taking my call. I really enjoyed the picture of Mandela,
Thank
and I was
you.
wondering, are there any other African leaders you've painted or made drawings of?
Actually, not not yet. But I back home in my country, I drew a lot of I did a lot of portraits of some governors, some top leaders in my country. Well, I think Nelson Mandela is the first major artwork I did outside my country that portrays a leader and their exemplary lives. I've not done any other any other presidents or for now.
Well, I think that did a great job of not only explaining your artworks, but
Thank you.
answering the questions. You're welcome. Now I have another question.
Yeah.
How did you become a part of the Contemporary Art of Nigeria showcase?
Yeah, contemporary art of Nigeria exhibition in Chicago. Actually, on Facebook, we artists. There are a lot of groups out there, a lot of art groups, a lot of events going on. So there's one of Nigerian artists, and Mr. Tunde Famous Afolayan is one of the artists. He lives in Colorado. So it's through him that he invited me to be part of the African Contemporary Art Show in Chicago here, knowing that I'm not based in Chicago, so he invited me, and that's how I become part of the artists that was exhibiting in the show.
Awesome. Are there any other showcases or exhibitions that you've been in the past, or are you currently enrolled in?
Actually, back home in my country, I've done a lot of shows, exhibitions, but since I've been here in Chicago for the past year, I've exhibited like twice in two shows, and this will make it the third. There's one I did with an organization, Rough Hand people, in somewhere in Chicago. That's the first one I did ever since I've been here. But apart from that, I've not done any other major exhibitions here. This is the third exhibitions I've been participating in.
Wow, that is really impressive. Will you
Thank
be at the 27th annual African Festival of Arts this year?
Sure. Of course, I've been looking forward to that. I've heard a lot of that. Last year when I came, I wasn't able to, connect with people and get to the show. But this year, now that I've exhibited with these other great artists, Nigerians that are based there. So I think we are going to take our artworks there for the African Art Festival. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great. I'm so interested in it.
I am very excited for not only the festival
Thank you.
itself, but to see what you come up with.
Yeah.
So, with all of this great experience and this very impressive portfolio, as we just saw, no problem. What is next for you? Are there anything that any special projects that you're planning, or are you just gonna wing it from here?
Actually, I have a lot of personal projects I've been working on. So, like, there's about 2 exhibitions I'll be featuring this year. I'll be featuring this year in October and next year. So I have a lot of projects I've been working on towards this exhibition that I'll be coming up. One is in October, another one is next year. So those are the major projects I'll have on my hands now that I'll be working towards. Apart from that, no other major exhibitions for now till then.
All right. Okay. That sounds very interesting. We look forward to, seeing you in the future. Now, as I look at this picture of the woman with all of the very bright, vibrant colors, this one stands out from the rest of the ones we've seen. Can you elaborate on that just a little bit?
Thank you. Yeah, this actually, I was inspired to do this work, by my wife. And actually, we had our first child together. So during those times, the pregnancy wasn't easy for her, and kind of rough, and So I was inspired to do this artwork. But actually, this isn't her portrait. This is she wasn't the one I used as a reference, but just generally did this work, to show the expectations of, looking forward to a child, carrying a pregnancy for 9 months. It's not that easy, you look forward to it. And there are so many things that goes along with it, waiting, the sickness and all that. So I was inspired to do this work. This work was titled Privilege and Blessed Expectation. Privilege and blessed expectation. So I just want to project to people that being, expecting a child, a pregnancy stage and all that is a privilege and a blessed expectation. There are a lot of people out there looking for, fruit of the womb, get pregnant and all that. But if any one of them can, get pregnant and be expecting, it's a privilege, it's an honor, it's a blessed expectation. That's what the whole work is all about.
I think that is beautiful. That
Thank
is
you.
lovely. I look at this and I definitely can tell that there's a deeper meaning behind just a woman who is, like you said, expecting. I could tell there was some type of emotional connection with this, because not only does it just stand out so starkly from the rest of the artworks that we've presented today, just the colors and the vibrancy, it gives off a great vibe. Now this other one that we see, this one is definitely one of my favorites. I think that, you're welcome, I think that it definitely is just beautiful.
Yeah.
It's definitely just beautiful. The fact that you used more muted colors for the color scheme and then used, what is that, watercolor?
It's watercolor. That's a
watercolor
medium. Yeah.
Yes, watercolor along with the muted color palette with the pop of just pink, pale pink. That is just great. What made you do that?
Yeah, this piece is titled African Hibiscus. You know hibiscus flower?
Yes.
So that's the flower she's hanging on her hair. She had done her hair with a hibiscus flower. So I titled that African Hibiscus. A lot of times where Africans or African African girls, kind of, how would I put it now? They tend to look a little bit less on themselves, and just want to portray through this medium that African girls, no matter how your hair looks, either you plait your hair or it looks beautiful. So this piece shows a little girl that adorned herself with the hibiscus flower to her hair, and she's looking relaxed and beautiful. That's what caught my eye, and I just started to portray her in that medium.
I think that one, not only is it just visually great, but the fact that you explain the meaning behind it, that is very, very touching. Like, you're welcome. It definitely reaches home, because nowadays, us as women, we have a lot of pressure on us to look a certain way and, to make ourselves up to fit a certain standard of beauty that society puts out for us. And like you said, it gets to a point where you don't even look like your natural self. We have to learn to, as men and women, embrace how we naturally look.
Yeah.
Yes, and accept ourselves before we expect others to accept us. Definitely. Yeah. So that one is definitely something that reaches home.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, is there anything else that you would like to share with us? Anything else that we should know about you?
Actually, yeah. So I think I would like people to know I as an artist, I want to kind of use my works to communicate, to speak out, to portray our African culture, to show our African values and the things we value, the things we like, our African ways. That's one of my aims in my artworks that I do. So
Yes.
That's what I want people to know about my artworks. Are basically, portraying our African culture, Nigerian culture, and other cultures around the world to bring it to their awareness.
Well, thank you so much for coming with us today. We
Thank you.
greatly appreciate it. No problem. Well, you guys heard it yourselves. You can definitely find more out about him and look more into his works on his website and social media. You want to go ahead and share that for them?
My social media on Facebook is Marquis Creations Online. That's in Marquis Creations Online. Then my website is marquiscreations.wix.com/mk finance. That's a little bit long. And on Instagram is Marquis MO6, as in Marquis MO6 on Instagram and Twitter. Those are my handles.
Yes, well, they'll definitely be checking you out because obviously you impressed the crowd.
Thank you.
No problem. We have one more message for you guys in the closing. The 27th Annual African Festival of Arts Labor Day weekend will have themed entertainment for each day of its 4-day run, featured on 2 stages. Friday night will be the Chicago Dance Night featuring stepping. Saturday night is Juju Night with musician Chief Commander Ebenezer Obey of Nigeria.
Yeah.
He will be joined by Angel de Cuba and EPA, Afro-Colombian Band. Sunday will feature singer-composer D. Alexander as part of Chicago's Best Night, a lineup of area talent. And the festival will conclude on Labor Day with a headline artist to be named shortly. The African Festival of Arts is one of the largest and longest-running festivals in the Midwest, focused on African arts and culture, and each year draws tens of thousands of people to Washington Park. Additionally, African International House will host a gala on August 20th at Gabriella on Cottage Grove, where they will recognize the Grand Yeye and Grand Baba for this year's event. For more information on tickets, please call 773-955-ARTS. Well, that's going to be the end of our show, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, my name is Kaylin Lawrence. I am the founder of the Fresh Faces campaign. You can check me out at fashionthunderclap.blogspot.com. You can also check him out at his social media, as he just mentioned, at his website. And you can definitely be sure to look into the African International House's websites, their email, which was listed below, and their phone number. We're going to put that right back so you guys can make sure you have the information to look more into detail. Here they are. That's www.aihUSA.org, the Africa International House. For the email, that would be info@aihUSA.org. And again, the phone number would be 773-955-2787.